Ladies and gentlemen, to my super chat, thank you so very, very much. Please go ahead, share my Times of Israel article, Hillary Clinton, not Biden, will be nominee. Share my Huffington Post article, Hillary Clinton 2020 is a reality, get ready for 8 years of Trump. That was published in 2017. Please go ahead and subscribe to H.A. Goodman's other channel right now. I have a fantastic segment right after this live stream there. Please subscribe to Bizarro World Goodman. Trump to sign executive order on social media and Twitter. Big Tech, amid Twitter controversy, Big Tech is doing everything in their considerable power to censor in advance of the 2020 election. Trump tweeted late Wednesday night, May 27th, 2020. President Donald Trump is expected to sign an executive order aimed at social media companies on Thursday. White House Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany told reporters Wednesday evening. A move that comes as the president and his allies have escalated their allegations. Allegations that companies like Twitter and Facebook stifle GOP voices. They do. They do. I don't have Twitter and Facebook. H.A. Goodman does not have Twitter and Facebook. If you see anyone impersonating me, they're breaking the law. Please report them to Twitter. But they are geared. These are social media, cyber reality worlds where the rules of the game, the rules of communication, the protocol in terms of how to communicate is geared towards Democrats. They do not fact check the way Adam Schiff or Pelosi or Madam Secretary's tweets. Hillary Clinton will be the nominee. I will have made the biggest political call of all time. I'll get to that later. It is a categorical lie. It is the definition of deception to say that Trump worked with Russia. This has always been stated by Congressman Adam Schiff. It is a categorical lie. There is no evidence. They did not impeach President Trump on any legal statute. It is a lie to say that he is a criminal. He committed no crimes. They did not impeach him on a crime. So when people accuse him on social media, whether it's Hollywood celebrities or Democratic politicians, there is no fact check. They have not, they are making statements daily about President Trump. He is a criminal. There was no crime he committed. He worked with Russia. James Clapper himself said he's seen no evidence. Russia hacked the DNC. The CrowdStrike CEO states he has not seen concrete evidence. The ODNI and DHS reports state they're highly to moderately confident something happens. Well, everything Trump says he's highly to moderately confident on. You cannot fact check one person's opinion while ignoring a fact check on another person's opinion. President Trump never stated that in the past, what he said about mail-in ballots was that Democrats will cheat and that Democrats have cheated. This is the truth. There are examples of this. Whether or not it's enough to convince Democrats that people should not trust them is a different point. We're talking about semantics and philosophy of language now. They don't want Trump to communicate. They're afraid of his ideas because his ideas, oftentimes, almost always, when it comes to mail-in ballots, for example, undermine the prevailing narrative. The prevailing narrative is not that it's never been used to cheat. The prevailing narrative is that, well, you can't find a systemic pattern where elections are rigged because of mail-in ballots. But that is not why people don't, even Democrats don't trust the Democrats. They cut Andrew Yang's mic. This is just really quickly, before we get to the executive order, let's just, Andrew Yang microphone. Andrew Yang claims microphone was off. Yang claims microphone was off unless called on during debate. NBC says he's wrong. I believe Andrew Yang on that. NBC is not the Democratic National Committee. Therefore, why would they do this? Because it's not just a matter of the DNC. It's not just a matter of mail-in ballots. It's a matter of media covering up. When Biden says, see, Democrats look at everything from a microscope, from the vantage point of there's no issue with mail-in ballots. There's no issue with mail-in ballots. And Trump is lying again. The issue pertaining to President Trump is the following. Let's just look really quickly. There was a great article on okay, hold on. There was a great article. It was in Florida. Okay, that's right. Hold on. Broward County audit. Just really quickly. Audit reveals the Sun Sentinel. Audit finds 2018 election in Broward County was marred by waste, extra votes, unnecessary delays. This is by Anthony Mann, the South Florida Sun Sentinel. Okay. Then it goes on to talk about the following. Multiple shortcomings contributed to a problem-plagued 2018 election in Broward County, many of which were on public display. While a national cable TV audience waited for Florida to recount votes in elections for governors and U.S. Senate, a controversial audit 18 months later is now detailing even more failings. Among the issues raised in the audit, half of Broward County's election precincts reported more ballots cast than the number of voters. How does that happen? How do you have more ballots cast than the number of voters? Oh, that's right. You stuffed the ballots. Backlogs in processing mail ballots snarled reporting of results. Confusing ballot design may have led thousands of voters to inadvertently skip an important contest. Money was wasted on unneeded blank ballots, which weren't adequately tracked and were eventually destroyed. After Election Day, auditors found the recount was plagued by poor planning, inadequate staffing and equipment, and poor quality control. This is a Democratic stronghold. Broward County is not a conservative, Republican-dominated city or county. This is one example. You can ask Tim Canova, who understands how Debbie Wasserman Schultz and Democrats cheat in Florida. This is a Sun Sentinel article. Audit finds 20. So President Trump should simply tweet these articles. He should simply tweet the articles. Now, you're not going to find a fact check, from Jack Dorsey that says audit finds 2018 election in Broward County was marred by waste, extra votes, unnecessary delays. You certainly won't find Twitter fact-checking any Democrat pertaining to half of Broward County's election precincts reported more ballots cast than the number of voters. How is this possible? How is this possible? Okay, it's only possible if you cheat. This is a Sun Sentinel article by Anthony Mann, South Florida Sun Sentinel. That's why President Trump wrote what he wrote. Again, you cannot, this is not, if you offer a rebuttal to Democrats pertaining to this issue, you will get a maniacal response. You will not get, "Oh, that's interesting. Thank you for enlightening me," or "Thank you for an educated response where we can discuss the issue." Obtuse one, hello. Valerie Rogers! And this shocks you? It doesn't shock me, but it is important to point out in terms of the fact that Twitter will only fact check one side. This is the problem. McEnany told reporters aboard Air Force One that the order is pertaining to social media, but shared no additional details on what it will do. But the announcement revived fears within the online industry that Trump administration will target a 24-year-old statute that protects the companies from lawsuits, an avenue that a growing number of Republican lawmakers have advocated in their bias allegations about Silicon Valley. If you cannot defend ideas, you are going to lose elections. It doesn't matter how much censorship. If you cannot defend ideas, you will lose cultural battles. You will lose elections. You will lose within your own primary. Here's an example. I think that Medicare for All is a noble idea. I think it would be fantastic if it were feasible in this country. I have an uncle in France. About 12 years ago, he told me that he had open heart surgery. We were talking, and he told me that he had open heart surgery. It was like $150 that he told me it was. Okay, the whole thing. But he must have had it like 20 years ago. Okay. Anyway, things have probably changed even in France, but it's a noble thing. It would be fantastic, right? The idea within the Democratic Party has completely been obliterated. It is used simply to funnel votes. It is not an idea that can be challenged with, "Oh, well, we passed the Medicare for All bill in the House," or, "Oh, if you don't pass this Medicare for All bill, we will vote Green Party." There's no way that idea is going to become reality with the current state of the left, because they don't use ideas. They don't champion ideas with political leverage. They use ideas as a way to get retweeted. So then people say, "This pandemic doesn't change your mind, bruh." No, people aren't changing. In Wisconsin, they literally stayed in the rain, getting pelted by hail during a pandemic, which shows you what Democrats really think about this. When it's something they want, yes. If it's working, no. So people voted in Wisconsin deliberately not to get Medicare for All. Okay, but the point is the people who have championed the Medicare for All idea are tools of the Democratic Party. So you can't, and they use and these vapid kind of you also can't retweet an idea and expect your idea or your policy objective to gain traction in a cyber reality. It doesn't work that way. You can say the most vapid, nonsensical, irrational, absurd, deceitful thing, and if it's about Medicare for All, if it's about how Trump is a xenophobe, if it's about some kind of morality tale or morality guilt-ridden statement, then suddenly you're a preacher and you're pontificating and you're giving some kind of lesson on ethics and you're a good person and everyone's going to retweet you because you're in your cyber reality bubble, and suddenly you feel so good and you got 2,000, 3,000 retweets. It is completely meaningless in life. Completely meaningless. Okay, Biden has zero social media presence. That points to the fact that he's faking everything. He's not really going to be the nominee. He's just campaigning so Clinton doesn't have to. She will be the nominee, like I stated in 2017. I will have made the biggest political call of all time. But having zero is no good. You could have some media, social media, just to show that there's some kind of grassroots. But to just be Bernie Sanders and control all of Twitter and Facebook in terms of having endless retweets and likes, and that's also irrelevant to reality. President Trump has a social media presence. He doesn't even really, and he's not even like in terms of American culture. He's counterculture. Hollywood views him to be a tyrant. The music industry, Hollywood, late night, they view him to be the biggest, most horrible monster. So the fact that he has such a great media presence is an achievement. But social media is a place where Democrats, and you see it on Twitter now with the fact check of Trump, but not the fact check of Adam Schiff or any Hollywood celebrity. It is a categorically, patently false statement to say that Trump worked with Russia. It is also a patently false statement to say that the Russians absolutely hacked the DNC. We don't know, because the CrowdStrike CEO, in congressional testimony under oath, stated he didn't have concrete evidence. I'm not making that up. That's what he said in the House of Representatives transcripts. And then if you read the ODNI and DHS reports, they say that they're moderately to highly confident. So they have no evidence of anything. When they believe something to be true, they, in their minds, deceive themselves because all the smartest people and all the experts agree with them. So therefore, when they say Russia hacked the DNC, they point to the ODNI and DHS reports, and then they play a semantic game. Then they play a very hilarious, overt game of deception. They say it's been confirmed by a bipartisan Senate panel. What's been confirmed? The high to moderate confidence has been confirmed. Well, then nothing's been really. Then there's nothing. There's no guarantee or of certainty there. They're not saying it is certain. They're not saying it is certain that Russia infiltrated our election to back Donald Trump. They're saying they have confirmed without a shadow of a doubt in the Senate that the ODNI report is just moderately to highly confident. I have confirmed that Michael Jordan is better than LeBron James, based on my opinion. I have confirmed that Wilt Chamberlain is better than Michael Jordan, based on my viewpoint and all the viewpoints of experts on the matter. I have confirmed that Bill Russell is better than Wilt Chamberlain or Michael Jordan, based on a panel of experts who are moderately to highly confident. So we can play this game all day long. Democrats cannot say with certainty that Russia even wanted Trump. They could say, well, look at everything, but then we're finding out now that the ODNI and DHS reports and Clapper and Brandon Comey and Strzok and congressional Democrats withheld information that showed that Russia also wanted Clinton. That was just out recently also. Then they say Russia interfered, Russian interference, Russia. They don't have any evidence to show that even one vote was altered. Jimbo! Didn't CrowdStrike's CEO testify that the FBI were granted access and chose not to? Great stuff, HA. It's interesting. I think he might have stated that to just cover his own behind. Everyone is in CYOA mode. Every single person is in cover your behind mode. Thank you, Jimbo, as always. Everyone is just trying to cover their own behind. Everyone's trying to cover their own behind. So the fact that the United States government never looked at DNC servers is another issue. And then they get away with that they've gotten away with that by saying, well, this company, very respected, has already looked at the servers, and they gave a pristine copy of the servers, copies, to the United States government. How do we know this? Here, the conflicts of interest are unbelievable also. They would never allow Donald Trump to purchase a dossier on Hillary Clinton. They would never allow the RNC to outsource a company to then dictate to intelligence agencies information from a company paid for by the Republicans. They would never allow this. If the tables were turned, they would never allow this. But also another problem with the ideas of Democrats is the following. They don't have a concept of if the shoe were on the other foot or if the tables were turned. They don't have a concept. They don't have a concept of this. They don't have a concept of hypocrisy. They don't have a concept of hypocrisy. And I'm going to get to really quickly a very difficult subject. When you look at Eric Garner in New York, who I believe, he was murdered, as was George Floyd in Minneapolis. Who are the mayors of these cities? Because Trump doesn't. Who are the mayors of these cities? The president is not involved. President Obama wasn't involved with what happens in New York. President Trump is not involved with what happens in Minneapolis. Who are the mayors of these cities and states that are blue cities and states? Oh, that's right, Democrats. Oh, that's right, Democrats. Oh, that's right, Democrats. That's interesting. So you have this gentleman, Jacob Frey, who is he looks like a Democrat, wonderful Democratic, good Democratic mayor. What a good Democratic mayor. How could this happen in his city? Well, ask Mayor Pete. Ask all the Why is it that Democratic mayors, this is just an example of atrocities that take place under the watch of Democrats. So Joe Biden says, you are not your race or ethnicity or background if you don't vote for me, and you're supposed to also turn away when Democratic mayors and who's the Attorney General? Oh, that's right, Keith Ellison. That's interesting. So what's Keith Ellison going to do about this as Attorney General? What has he done? What has he done about this? So this is all happening under the watchful eye of Democrats, who are pure as the driven snow. Do you understand? They are the most lofty, moral, ethical, idealistic, beautiful, wonderful people. Oops! All these atrocities are taking place under their watch, and but you're expected to vote, or else you're not who you are. This is the mindset of the Democratic Party. If you don't vote for us, you aren't even who you are, and look away when atrocities take place under our watch. That's a Democrat in Minneapolis. That's a Democrat in New York City. And media does not hold them accountable. Half of all the lives lost from this crisis are in New York, New Jersey, and Michigan, all Democratic run. Half of all the lives lost in the entire country. They get away with everything. The governor of New York is now America's governor. For what? The worst response to the crisis? The absolute worst response? They get away with everything. So, they get away with everything, but it ain't going to last because your ideas have to gain traction among people. Your ideas have to gain traction among people. The reason that my channel is successful, both channels, or 3 channels, whatever, bizarre world I'm building, but H.A. Goodman's other channel is a fun channel. It's over 15,000 subs. Everyone subscribe. It's below in the pinned comment. H.A. Goodman's other channel is great. This channel is doing well. It's going to do even better. But the reason I'm doing well, or I'm doing all right on YouTube, is because I use public record, reputable sources, New York Times, Politico, Washington Post, and I challenge those ideas using the words of our own wonderful government. Like, for example, I'll quote the ODNI report. They're pretty honest. If I'm a husband and I go to my wife, I want to let you know that I'm moderately to highly confident I'll have about 10 Hawaiian Tropic models in our bed this evening. And then the wife says, "What? What?" And then you say, you want the Russians, the neighbor is Russian, and you're upset because you want the neighbor wants you to be upset. That's why. So don't get upset with me. You're bringing other people in our bed. You're just upset because our neighbor is Russian. You see what you're doing? You see what you're doing now? Okay? No, you stop that right now, and you apologize. I should apologize? I should apologize for what you're doing? Yes, you apologize, because you know what? Who told you about all of this initially? It was the neighbor, the Russian neighbor. Okay? So therefore, who's right and who's wrong? I'm right. You're wrong. Because the Russians want you to be upset with me. It's not the fact that I have 10 Hawaiian Tropic models in our bed. It's the fact that you knew about it from the Russian neighbor. Babs! I'm in New York. It's quarantine camp. Help. Babs, hello. Hello. Babs, hello. Thank you so very much. Thank you. That's a great name. Babs, thank you very, very much. It is, we're going to look back at this. Babs, and everyone here, we're going to look back at this, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to say, okay, media had lost its mind around this point. You know who was also horrible? Babs, thank you very, very, very much. Thank you. You know who's also horrible? The establishment Republicans. I'm tired of Lindsey Graham. I'm tired of Lindsey Graham. Another Jimbo, I got more of them. Another suburban AJ analogy. Jimbo, give my best to everyone at the pub, to Webby, to Aussie J, to everybody. Thank you, Jimbo. As always. One day I'm going to show up at that pub. One day I'll be like, Jimbo, where's Jimbo? And they'll kick me out. I'll be like, who's this crazy American? Jimbo, thank you. Babs, thank you. They're slowly being consumed by their own contempt. Do you understand? Do you understand? You know, if you like college football, the lead up to a college football game, if you're playing your rival, and you know that that your rival is going to have the whole year, won't ever let you live it down. They'll have bragging rights. And you know that your team just isn't doing well. That you're going to get just completely obliterated. You kind of dread that day. It's like, oh my God, oh no, let's just end this quickly. Oh my God. Democrats are approaching that rivalry game. Democrats are the San Diego Chargers in '94, and Trump is the 49ers with Steve Young and Jerry Rice. Okay, or you can look. Just they know what's going on. Democrats have a pretty good idea that they're on the ropes. That's why from here on out, don't ever speak to anyone, ladies and gentlemen, who doesn't like President Trump, or who's even, you know what, don't speak to a Democrat or liberal on politics. If you have the inclination, go run full steam at a wall. You'll have a much better time. Much better time, because there's no point to it. There's no point to it. Any attempt to go after tech companies, so let's continue. Any attempt to go after tech companies through regulation could face serious obstacles. The president's own regulators have shown little appetite in the past for taking on the scrutiny of tweets and Facebook posts, and federal courts have ruled as recently as Wednesday morning that social media companies are private entities with the legal right to police content on their sites. Trump and his supporters have been hammering Twitter since the social network labeled a pair of tweets with a fact-check notice for the first time. By the way, nobody cares that Trump's tweets are fact-checked because they know very well that Adam Schiff and Nancy Pelosi and Hillary Clinton and Jerry Nadler and Rob Reiner and every other and every Hollywood celebrity, those tweets are not fact-checked. Therefore, they know that it is unfair. Therefore, they know that the game is skewed. If the game is not level, if the playing field of ideas is not level, then people tune out. This, ladies and gentlemen, okay, there's a Washington Post article, something, Trump says 15 lies a day. Well, then you could multiply that for Madam Secretary and President Obama. Because the manner in which they call Trump's statements a lie, Trump said we had record low unemployment. He said we had the best economy ever. And the Washington Post said, the best economy ever. It wasn't the best economy ever. In 1957, it was a better economy. Huh? And saying it's the best economy ever because you had record low unemployment and record highs in the stock market, based on those metrics, you could make the statement. It's not an overt lie. It's maybe hyperbole. But all politicians, especially President Obama, especially Hillary Clinton, and of course Bush, engaged in hyperbole and lied all the time, but they weren't fact-checked in the maniacal, obsessive, petulant, malicious manner. You cannot, if you're going to fact-check hyperbole, then other presidents would have just as many, if not more. You look at the lead up to George W. Bush's foreign policy. You look at everything that Democrats have said the past year about Russia should have a fact check. Every single tweet, every single statement, every single tweet or statement. But of course, you're not going to get that fact check, are you? The Steele dossier, for example. Anyone who ever talked about the Steele dossier on Twitter as something incriminating towards President Trump should have their tweet deleted or fact-checked by Jack Dorsey. But of course they won't. That's why nobody cares. That's why nobody cares. They're petulant. It's not good to be petulant. It's not good to be petty. It's not good. See, this is the thing. They're trying to play Trump's game, but President Trump's personality is not a game. It's just who he is. I actually really enjoy his personality for the most part. The only thing I would say, and people say, everyone's treated equally. I would say just no tweeting against women. That's it. If a female politician, insults you, just don't tweet back. But he does. So I would say he should not do that, but whatever. Because the optics and it just doesn't resonate well, whatever. There are other things I would say, to moderate a little. But with female politicians, do not. I mean, obviously with Clinton's different, but whatever. But generally, his personality is hilarious. People don't understand the reason the left and Democrats don't know why a person would vote for President Trump, but he just gave a tweet about Afghanistan and how we shouldn't be the world police. That's exactly what I want in a president. I don't want Bernie Sanders. Russia, if you're listening, Putin, I don't want your help, okay? Translate that into Russian. I do not want your help. Is that good? Tom Perez? Did I do a good job? Just tell me what I need to do. I don't want your help, Putin. Not like you helped Trump. I don't want your help. Is that good? You'd veto Medicare for all. Good. I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you veto what I want. That's so good. And then they say that Trump is this madman and he's horrible and he's terrible and he's this and he's that, and anything they do that's horrible and terrible is covered up immediately. Then they go back to saying that Trump is horrible and terrible, and then they engage in horrible and terrible behavior, and then they say, oh my God, Trump is horrible and terrible. Jimbo! Lindsey Graham has obfuscated for 3.5 years. He definitely has. You know what? Lindsey Graham is a two-faced, duplicitous person who the only thing he did good, by the way, was his the way he acted during the Kavanaugh hearings. Other than that, he's just been trying to pretend. I agree, Jimbo, 100%. I'm tired of that man. They even, Democrats have even shared the whole thing. Like, Biden he's such a wonderful person, Biden. And so Lindsey Graham was crying about how great of a person Biden is. And so it's like, so what? Lindsey Graham, he's a politician. These politicians are actors, better actors and actresses than Hollywood. Jimbo, thank you. Old school dad man. Trump fact-checked himself. He did? Trump fact-checked himself. I don't know what that means. It's funny, though. Jimbo, old school dad man. Jimbo, old school dad man. So, let's continue. Big Tech is doing everything in their very considerable power to censor in advance of the 2020 election. If that happens, we no longer have our freedom. And then let's just, I'm the only person, I obsess over about, 5 or 6 things every segment. Get away, insect. Oh my God. And Bernie Sanders was cheated by Democrats, so why should we trust Democrats? They cheated their own candidate. 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 I'll say it for about 5,000 more times, and nobody will care. I'm like, The people who don't care, the people who care the least are the Bernie supporters nowadays. They don't even care. It's like they weren't born. I will never let it happen. They tried hard in 2016 and lost. Now they are going absolutely crazy. Stay tuned. And everyone's like, Trump! Whenever he tweets, and everyone from Hollywood to Max Boot and Bill Kristol, the Washington Post and New York Times, when they go, Trump! 63 million people go like this. Yes, yes. They don't get it, too. They don't understand. The last thing I need is Robert De Niro, who is like 70 plus years old, I think. Who cares? It doesn't matter the age, but the last thing I need is morality lessons from Robert De Niro or Hollywood producers. Why would I listen to Hollywood producers about morality? Why? Why would I care about their thoughts on anything? Hollywood stinks. The movie industry is tanking. And it's tanking. It's tanking because they're trying to teach you about life. They're trying to teach you. Every movie is a lesson. I want to enjoy myself. I don't want to learn. I don't care about these morality lessons. I don't want remakes that are completely different from the original because the original had a point. The original in the 80s had a certain cast for a reason, maybe, or it just worked. Okay? I don't need... Hold on here. What's that movie? I don't need a remake of The Divine Secrets of the Yaya Sisterhood with Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger. I don't need that. Keep the cast. Keep the cast. Okay? Keep the cast the way it was. Okay? I don't need, I don't need the Divine Secrets of the Yaya Sisterhood to be this, Expendables 4 type movie. Keep it what it was. It's all good. But you won't learn until you've completely obliterated that industry also. Fantastic liberals. So keep going. Don't stop. How many icebergs do you need to hit? Teresa King! Let's face it, Trump is a stable genius. They can't compete. Even the phrase stable genius. It's so funny. Everything he says, look, he's hilarious. And then they say, how could you say that? And then when Joe Biden says something absolutely horrendous, so it's really not that big of a deal. It's really not that big of a deal at all. Come on. It's really not that big of a deal at all. And the hilarious thing is, President Trump really is. And so, Teresa King, you're right. But it's interesting because he's the roadrunner. Media, Wile E. Coyote, and they keep on falling off the cliff, and they don't know how. They don't know why. They have no clue why. They have no clue why. They have no understanding. They have no clue why. So that's the thing. Teresa King, he is a walking media entity. So the Washington Post and the New York Times, MSNBC and CNN, they look at him and they say, "Oh my God, why can't we defeat him? He's so orange and boorish. Why?" And they don't get it. They don't get it. They don't understand that they're so unsuited and unqualified to give lessons on morality that them pointing the finger at Trump, you have four fingers pointing back at themselves. They have fingers pointing back at them. Every finger they point at Trump. So it's like they don't get it. They're clueless. They are absolutely clueless. They're absolutely clueless. They don't get it at all. They don't get it at all. And so let's continue with this. Politico reported last year the White House was circulating a draft of the executive order to address long-standing accusations from conservatives about bias by social media companies. Even, CNN later reported that the order would task the Federal Communications Commission with developing regulations to clarify when social media companies qualify for crucial liability protections, and would have the Federal Trade Commission take those new policies into account when it investigates or files lawsuits against misbehaving companies. The proposal targeted the online industry's prized liability shield over user-generated content, Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act. The 1996 law broadly protects websites from lawsuits over what their users post and for taking good faith efforts to curb illicit material. But those protections, which have been fiercely defended by the tech industry, have come under scrutiny from officials on both sides of the political spectrum. Republicans have charged that the shield has enabled social media platforms to crack down on their viewpoints with impunity. There's no conclusive evidence of an anti-conservative bias. Yes, there is. Any evidence that's given, they don't agree with. They don't believe. It's like, Peter Strzok said, "We'll stop Trump." So what? The Steele dossier was purchased by Hillary Clinton. So what? Alexander Downer is linked to the Clinton Foundation. So what? James Clapper is on CNN all the time, and he wasn't even confident about that Russia even hacked the DNC or wanted Trump. So what? President Obama knew of everything. So what? The Steele dossier was purchased by Clinton and then outsourced with help from Russians. So what? They don't care about anything. So obviously, it's like whenever Democrats say, "Well, there's no evidence of this accusation," there's a lot of evidence. They don't view anything to be evidence. They don't care. They don't care. They don't care. Jimbo, Trump paints a fake tunnel on the side. Trump paints a fake tunnel on the side of the mountain. They keep on running into it. And then they blame Trump. And then they just curse and blame Trump to no end. They curse and blame Trump. Jimbo, the quicker flipper picker upper. Oh, yes. Bring back the good old Naked Gun. Bring back the good old Leslie Nielsen comedy. Leslie Nielsen was the man. He was in a great Twilight Zone episode also. I think it was the Twilight Zone. Great episode where he was crazy episode on the beach. Jimbo, thank you. Thank you, Jimbo, as always. If Twitter wants to editorialize and comment on users' posts, it should be divested of its special status under the federal law Section 230 and forced to play by the same rules as all other publishers. Fair is fair. Well, there you go. There you go. Some Democratic lawmakers have also advocated restricting the industry's 230 protections, but for very different reasons, such as failing to fact-check politicians like Trump. See, but you can't do that because they're not saying you could fact-check Democrats. The GOP calls got rhetorical support Wednesday night from a former FCC member, Brenda Carr, a Republican. He's a Republican. Notice that if it's Peter Strzok saying, we'll stop Trump, it's like, so what? You can have your own viewpoint. It's not a problem. But it's a Republican who some see as a potential future chairman of the agency. So she has motivation. Appearing on Fox News, Tucker Carlson tonight, he has motivation. Brendan Carr. He singled out Twitter's fact check of Trump's tweets as imposing a, quote, partisan political viewpoint. Of course it is. Of course it is. He could have just tweeted information about Broward County. Bimbo Dick is BXN! HRC must have got Debbie WS to be Bernie's online BFF to sell out. That movement is done. Bimbo Dick is BXN. Isn't it done? All of the people who, I mean, that's what happened to Bernie Sanders is pretty unbelievable. Hold on, let's see. Left-wing podcasters are charting a future without Bernie Sanders. This is Bloomberg. So hold on, this is interesting. So hold on one second, let's see. So it's you know, it's pretty much if people cannot see that Bernie Sanders, he started off in 2016 as a completely different person, politician, who knows, because I was the biggest Bernie Sanders booster on the internet according to the Huffington Post and the unofficial scribe of Sanders' most hardcore voters according to the Washington Post. I was the one-man equivalent of what media was against Bernie Sanders. And people on the left didn't care. But I thought that he would want to bring home Americans. He obviously doesn't. That's what really motivated me. I want American soldiers home with their families, their wives, their husbands, their daughters, their sons, their parents, their friends. I want them home. And President Trump has set the groundwork for Americans to be brought home. We cannot have never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts. This is the biggest issue we face as a country. Infinitely bigger than climate change, because when people bring up climate change, they're like, it's like saying, I want to become a millionaire in business. It's so broad. It's such a broad, of course it's important, but this is an action we take as a country that instantly affects the lives, directly affects the lives of people outside of our country and within our country. And we cannot have, like, Democrats have shrugged their shoulders for the past, 12 years now? Well, 16 years. Or 20 years. Like, I guess they'll just stay there forever. It's like, no. You need President Trump to bring them home and reverse American foreign policy, which he's done. But so this is Bernie Sanders the other day. He's like, on Friday night, join me for a screening of The Revolutionist, a film in the lifetime of Eugene Debs. Okay, why don't you just join the Green Party, Bernie? Why don't you just join the Green Party? Why don't all these people who think socialism is fantastic and who are socialists, fine, why don't they join the Green Party? I don't get it. Oh, that's right, because it's not cool or, accepted. Who knows why? But that would actually make a change. I am, John, I am. Oh my goodness, I'm hitting a wall here. All right, let's see here. Let's see here. I'm still with her. Let's see what the I am still with her crowd is saying. Hillary did nothing wrong. But Republicans made her testify for 11 straight hours. And then they were saying 100,000 Americans lost their lives. Experts say Trump is mostly to blame. No, experts do not say that. And there are experts to counter the experts that say that. But see, this is the vapid type of thing. Already 5.4 thousand likes. By Republican standards, that would merit 275,000 hours of testimony from Trump. No, not really, because 56,000 Americans lost their lives under President Obama because of a virus, and over 116,000 Americans under Eisenhower in 1957. And nobody asked either Eisenhower or President Obama or LBJ in 1967 when 100,000 Americans lost their lives because of the flu. But this is, then they say, well, Hillary did nothing wrong. Only 600 requests for help, but aside from that, nothing wrong. But this is what gets, and this is 7 hours ago, people, and it's linked to I'm still with her. I will have made the biggest political call of all time. Look, there's a difference between me and a person against Trump. I love Hillary Clinton. She's amazing, fantastic. She's great. I think that she should run every 4 years. It's a fantastic thing to see her run. It will be my voice will be amplified forever because she's so wonderful and running again, but I will have made the biggest political call of all time. I want her to run. Democrats don't want Trump to run. Or they don't want Trump in politics. I want Madam Secretary always in politics. No one has sacrificed more in the history of mankind for our happiness. So there you go. What's the problem? What's the problem? All right. We should be able to say, she's my president. Yes, it's happening. It's happening. Yes. There's more online chatter. It's happening, people. And there's nothing they can do about it. There's nothing they can do about it. There's nothing they can do about it. She's my president. They're calling her Madam President. I think it's fantastic. Don't stop. And Pelosi calls Trump morbidly obese. If Trump ever said anything like that, it would be the end of the world, the end of the world, the end of the world. Old school dad, man! I really wish Trump's executive order would outlaw propaganda. Exactly. Me too. Me too. Unbelievable. Old school dad, man. Thank you. It's just unbelievable. I honestly, I haven't wrapped my brain around it. Old school dad, man. Thank you, as always. Thank you. Ferris Bueller. Do you think Crooked will even need to use Biden Nazi sitting on her Bueller. Ferris Bueller. Old school dad, man. Maybe. It's a possibility. I think that if Biden doesn't tank his campaign more, people didn't even pick up on what he said about Charlemagne. He called Charlemagne a wise guy. That's even more that's just as disrespectful as what he initially stated, because Charlemagne was simply asking normal questions. So, and neither of them like Trump. Charlemagne detests President Trump, but he wasn't asking anything, horrible. He was saying, VP Biden, please come back. I still have more questions to ask you. And so how is that being a wise guy? How is that? How on earth is that being a wise guy? How? So, I don't get it. I don't understand it. But you know what? I mean, I understand it, but it's like the hypocrisy is unbelievable. They don't care about. This is the thing about the Democratic Party, liberals in general. They don't have a concept of hypocrisy because they think that even if they're wrong, they're doing something noble. Jasher Fielov! Why do you think they are waiting to announce Clinton? I believe, Jasher Fielov, I believe that they're waiting for the convention. They also have to, people aren't tired of Biden yet, so the pain continues. It's just they have to break. They have not broken the spirit of the average Democrat. That will happen. They will break the will and the spirit, the esprit de corps. That will not happen. It's a political machine predicated upon public relations. The average Democrat cannot turn into me. They cannot. Or they can't have my viewpoint. They absolutely cannot. They absolutely cannot. So they can't think that somebody's megalomaniacal, narcissistic enough, has this unbridled quest for political ambition not seen since Attila the Hun. They cannot think this. So they have to live in the world where, okay, it's Biden, okay, it's Biden, okay, all right. Okay, great, okay, until Biden says something else horrendous, which he will. You wait. Watching Biden tank his campaign is going to be very amusing because he ain't going to be giving that speech with a mask on. Can you? The average American is not down with. Forget about the medical utility. It's not, the average voter is not going to look at that favorably. That is just Democrat and Republican, but I think they're waiting until the convention, because at the convention, Jasher Fielov, there are 2 rounds. And the first round is the pledge delegates. They're not legally bound. And they're not legally bound. They can vote for whomever they want. They will vote for Hillary Clinton. She's their only chance. Hillary Clinton is literally their only chance to defeat President Trump. She has a chance to. She has I give her a 20% chance to. They haven't had enough. They haven't had enough of Biden. They want more Biden. They want more Biden because the more of Biden they get, the more of you ain't this and I'm running for Senate and my leg hairs and we want the cure to be worse than the problem and Burisma and the allegations and Biden's just his Tales from the Crypt charisma, his Tales from the Crypt. He looks like a plastic surgery. He looks like the guy from Tales from the Crypt got plastic surgery. And, he has this look, come on, man. That's Biden. he has zero chance to even get the popular vote. Hillary Clinton will likely get the popular vote. She has all of media. Notice how Hollywood has not been like, oh my, they would fawn over Clinton. I can't wait. They are going to worship Hillary. No. Don't. So when Democrats, I got so much heat when I was on the left for writing in the Huffington Post, the Hill Salon, the Cleveland Plain Dealer. I got so much heat. And now they're afraid of Madam Secretary? Oh, no. No, you're going to love it. You are going to love it the way we all love it. It's going to be very lovable. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's wrap this up. Joshua Phillip, they're waiting for the convention. 2 rounds. First round is the the first round is the pledge delegates. Pledge delegates are not legally bound. Second round is super delegates. They're all in the tank for Madam Secretary. Bill Abrams III, Biden starred in Poltergeist. Biden starred in Poltergeist too. All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, it's happening. Be here tomorrow for the fantastic live stream. God bless you. Thank you, everyone. To my super chat, thank you. Have a wonderful evening, everybody. Subscribe to H.A. Goodman's other channel. Subscribe to Bizarro World Goodman. Share right now, if you're on Facebook, my Huffington Post article, Hillary Clinton 2020 is a reality. Get ready for 8 years of Trump. That's written in 2017. And my Times of Israel article, Hillary Clinton, not Biden, will be nominee. Ladies and gentlemen, have a fantastic evening. This is normal compared to what's going to happen by November. We are in the most normal phase of this roller coaster election. And it is an honor to be here with you and to talk about all of this and discuss all of this with everyone here. Thanks, everybody. Have a great evening. I'll see you tomorrow. I have a live stream every morning and every evening. So my live stream tomorrow will be around 10 a.m., 9 a.m. Pacific. Thanks, everyone.